Hey everybody, it's Lynn Hayes. I hope you're doing well today. It's April 24th, 2020 when I record this, and I wanted to let you know about Pluto, which is turning retrograde tomorrow. I have written a long article for the blog, and I'll post a link to that in the description box. So Pluto turning retrograde is not such a big deal. It's retrograde for about 5 to 6 months virtually every year. All of the outer planets are retrograde for almost half the year. So that in itself isn't so unusual. But what's very unusual about this year is that we're going to have between 5 and 7 planets retrograde between May and the middle of October of this year. That's a lot of retrogrades. I did a research study that I outlined in the blog. I'm not going to repeat it here, but I was not able to find another time period where there were so many retrogrades for such a long period of time. So I want to share this with you if I can figure out the technology here for how to do this. Here is if you're able to see this, here is the table of retrogrades, and you can see that between the middle of May here, when we have 4 planets retrograde, and the middle of October, it's really early November before we go back to 4 retrogrades. This is just a tremendous number of planets that are changing direction. So it's not just that they turn retrograde and they change direction and they're going backwards. And they're not actually going backwards. Planets do not move backwards, but we observe the movement of the planets from our perspective on Earth. So sometimes they appear to move backwards because the Earth is moving faster than the other planets. Some of the other planets, anyway. So in any case, we not only have the retrograde movement, but we also have the planetary stations, where the planet, in its apparent forward motion, makes a U-turn. So it's pretty much at 1 degree for, depending on the planet, it can be up to 2 weeks. So there's a lot of this intense planetary energy when planets are moving back and forth. So the most common number of planets that are retrograde is 2 to 3 planets retrograde. 5, 6, very unusual. 7, and I am including Chiron here, but still 7 planets including Chiron, or 6 planets including Chiron. It's very unusual. So this really tells us that for the next quite a few months, things are not going to feel settled. There's going to be a lot of confusion. We're already seeing this. We're in a virus lockdown, quarantine. Nobody really knows what's happening. Nobody really knows how to fix it. There's going to be a lot of ideas. It's going to seem very promising, but then there's going to be a lot of backtracking. And that's all part of this retrograde. You take some steps forward and then you take some steps back. So we can't really control it. Knowing about it isn't going to help us control it. But knowing about it, for me anyway, it gives me a sense that there is some rhyme or reason. These are planetary cycles. They're cycles of life. This whole virus situation is a huge reorganization of how we live on planet Earth. Nothing is going to be the same when this is over. It's so much bigger than we can even, I feel, imagine at this point. So any idea that this is going to be over in June or July, I think we need to just let go of that idea. The planetary intensity pretty much goes through next January. So this is, I think, a year that we're basically on hold. But these retrogrades, I just felt like it's important to know what the energies are going to be like so that you can sort of settle into your life and find a way to live in this current situation. Because when we're dealing with Pluto and these other big planetary forces, we have to work with them. We can't really control them. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I'll look forward to seeing you Monday for the regular update. So thanks so much, and have a great weekend.